The dramatic moment unfolded on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, where the atmosphere started light and celebratory as Carrie Underwood, dressed in a striking red gown that hugged her figure perfectly, took her seat opposite Ellen amid the familiar warm applause from the audience. The conversation began innocently enough with Ellen complimenting Carrie's latest album and her enduring success in country music, reminiscing about her American Idol days and how far she had come since winning the competition. Carrie smiled graciously, sharing anecdotes about her family life, her faith, and the challenges of balancing motherhood with a demanding touring schedule, her voice steady and warm as she spoke about the joys of raising her sons and the support from her husband Mike Fisher. Ellen nodded along enthusiastically, interjecting with her signature playful humor, asking light-hearted questions about Carrie's fitness routine and her famous legs that had become a running joke in past appearances. The studio lights gleamed off the polished set, the large screen behind them displaying serene outdoor scenes with deer grazing peacefully, creating a cozy yet grand backdrop for what seemed like another typical feel-good celebrity interview. As the segment progressed, Ellen shifted gears slightly, bringing up Carrie's recent public statements on personal values and how they sometimes clashed with certain industry expectations, probing gently at first but with an underlying curiosity that hinted at deeper territory. Carrie remained composed, explaining her perspective rooted in her Christian beliefs and how she tried to navigate the spotlight without compromising her principles, her tone respectful yet firm as she emphasized the importance of staying true to oneself in a world full of pressures. Tension began to build subtly when Ellen steered the discussion toward more controversial topics, mentioning recent cultural debates around women's rights, equality, and how artists like Carrie positioned themselves amid polarizing social issues. Carrie responded thoughtfully, reiterating her commitment to kindness and respect for all people while holding on to her traditional views on family and life, carefully choosing her words to avoid escalation but not backing down from her convictions. Ellen pressed further, her questions becoming sharper as she referenced specific comments Carrie had made in interviews about faith-based decisions and their intersection with modern entertainment norms, suggesting that some fans felt conflicted by her stance. The audience shifted uncomfortably in their seats, sensing the shift from casual chat to something more intense, as Carrie's smile faded slightly and her posture straightened, her hands clasping together in her lap. Ellen leaned forward, her expression a mix of genuine interest and probing persistence, asking if Carrie ever felt pressured to conform or if she worried about alienating parts of her audience base with her outspoken beliefs. Carrie took a measured breath, explaining that authenticity was non-negotiable for her and that she believed in living out her values openly, even when it invited criticism or misunderstanding from different sides of the spectrum. The exchange grew heated as Ellen countered with examples of other celebrities who had evolved their views over time, implying perhaps Carrie could benefit from a similar openness, which struck a nerve and caused Carrie's eyes to narrow slightly in quiet frustration. The confrontation escalated rapidly when Ellen brought up a past clip from an earlier appearance where Carrie had spoken positively about certain social initiatives, contrasting it with more recent statements that appeared less aligned, questioning if there had been a deliberate shift or if external influences were at play. Carrie defended herself calmly at first, clarifying that her core beliefs had remained consistent and that any perceived changes were misinterpretations by media outlets eager for headlines. But as Ellen persisted, pushing for a direct admission or explanation that seemed to demand Carrie justify her personal convictions in a way that felt accusatory, the country star's patience began to wear thin. Her voice rose slightly, not in anger but in firm resolve, as she stated that she refused to be cornered into apologizing for who she was or what she stood for, emphasizing that respect should go both ways in any conversation. The studio fell quieter, the usual laughter absent, replaced by an uneasy hush as viewers at home and in the audience sensed the turning point. Ellen attempted to lighten the mood with a joke, but it landed awkwardly, failing to diffuse the mounting discomfort, and Carrie shook her head subtly, her expression a blend of disappointment and determination not to be misrepresented or bullied into silence. In a surge of emotion, Carrie looked directly at Ellen and expressed that the line of questioning felt less like an interview and more like an interrogation designed to trap her into controversy for ratings, something she had hoped to avoid on a show she had visited multiple times before in good faith. The words hung in the air, sharp and unfiltered, as Ellen blinked in surprise, momentarily caught off guard by the direct challenge. Carrie continued, her voice steady but laced with hurt, noting that she came to share music, stories, and positivity, not to defend her entire worldview against pointed scrutiny that ignored nuance. The audience murmured softly, some nodding in agreement while others looked shocked at the raw honesty unfolding live. Ellen tried to interject with a conciliatory remark, suggesting they move on to lighter topics, but the damage was done. The trust in the conversation had fractured irreparably. Carrie paused, glancing toward the wings as if weighing her next move, her chest rising and falling with controlled breaths, the weight of the moment palpable in the suddenly stifling studio environment. Without another word, Carrie rose from her seat, smoothing her red dress with deliberate grace despite the turmoil inside, her face composed but her eyes flashing with resolve. She turned to Ellen one final time, offering a polite but cool "thank you for having me," before walking steadily toward the exit, her heels clicking against the floor in a rhythm that echoed through the now silent set. The audience gasped collectively, a wave of stunned whispers rippling through the crowd as cameras followed her departure in disbelief. Ellen sat momentarily frozen, her usual quick wit absent, before attempting the recovery with a forced smile and a comment to the viewers about how passionate artists could be, but the awkwardness was undeniable. Backstage crew scrambled invisibly, the control room buzzing with frantic energy as producers watched the unprecedented walk-off unfold in real time, knowing this clip would dominate headlines for weeks. Carrie's exit was not rushed or dramatic in a theatrical sense but dignified and final, a silent statement louder than any shouted argument could have been. The aftermath rippled outward immediately, with social media exploding in a frenzy of reactions from fans defending Carrie's stand for authenticity to others criticizing her for overreacting or being ungracious. Clips of the moment circulated virally within minutes, sparking endless debates about celebrity interviews, the role of hosts in pushing boundaries, and the fine line between journalism and ambush tactics on daytime television. Carrie later released a brief statement through her team, expressing gratitude for past positive experiences on the show but affirming that she would always prioritize her integrity and would not engage in discussions that felt manipulative or disrespectful. Ellen's show addressed the incident briefly in a later episode, framing it as a difference of opinion that sometimes happens in live formats, while emphasizing the importance of open dialogue. The event became a defining pop culture moment, remembered not just for the walk-off itself but for what it revealed about evolving expectations in media interactions, the pressures on public figures to conform or confront, and the enduring power of one individual's choice to stand up and simply leave when boundaries were crossed, leaving an indelible mark on both stars' legacies and the conversation around authenticity in the spotlight.